Good morning, everyone. Yesterday, Faith Goldy was banned from Facebook, and in the House of Commons and all of the newspapers and all over Twitter, Liberals started trying to tie Andrew Scheer with Faith Goldy. Let's look at Huffington Post. And this is hard propaganda. This is written for people who are drinking the Kool-Aid, and he's already a white supremacist. This is just confirming their bias. But I'm just going to keep it to the relevant stuff. Huffington Post reporting, quote, Liberals pounce on Facebook's Faith Goldy ban to criticize Andrew Scheer. Federal Liberals are using Facebook's decision to ban a prominent white nationalist to reignite criticism of conservative leader Andrew Scheer's appearance at a controversial rally. It's a response that the Tory leader called a, quote, disgusting attempt to divert attention away from the SNC-Lavalin scandal. Liberal cabinet ministers made the gambit both inside and outside the House of Commons Monday, shortly after Faith Goldy was removed from the social media giant's platform for espousing hate along with other white nationalists such as Soldiers of Odin. I scroll down. Though billed as a rally against the Liberal government's energy policies, the event featured members of, quote, Yellow Vest Canada, a populist group known for promoting violence and xenophobic sentiments. Goldy, a former Rebel media personality, addressed protesters that day from a scissor lift. Quote, this is nothing but a disgusting attempt to deflect from their own despicable handling of this corruption affair, Scheer said in the House Monday. We will always denounce those who promote hateful ideologies while standing up for energy workers who are fighting for their jobs. And I scroll down again. Quote, it's really unfortunate that in this day and age, the leader of the official opposition did not find it a problem to share a stage with such an individual, he said, though Scheer did not appear on stage with Goldy. This is real, folks, and it has consequences. This was Ahmed Hassan, everybody. Sorry, I should have highlighted that. That was Ahmed Hassan saying that. Weeks ago, Scheer brushed off criticism about his appearance at the United We Roll rally by maintaining the event was about the struggles and anger of those in the energy industry. Quote, I know the Liberals would love to distract from their own failures by pointing to other elements that tried to associate themselves with the event, he said. After the news of Goldy's ban from Facebook broke, several people on social media also shared screen grabs from an interview Scheer gave to her in February 2017 when she was still part of the Rebel media. And here's the actual whole interview. It's 13 minutes long. And so they're really trying hard to tie Andrew Scheer to Faith Goldy. This was in 2017 when she worked for the Rebel. And I've said before, but Mr. Scheer cut ties with the Rebel after, and this is according to Huffpo here, but after its sympathetic coverage of a violent white supremacist rally in Charlottesville. So they admit that Scheer took steps to distance himself from something that he deemed inappropriate in 2017. And they also admit that he didn't actually share a stage with Faith Goldy. They just addressed the same rally, which is not the same thing. And however, so they're still trying to tie the two together. They're still trying to make you think of the other when one is said, right? So Faith Goldy, Andrew Scheer, Faith Goldy. That's what they're trying to do. But here is an interesting thing that happened to Justin Trudeau. Global News is reporting on January 12th, 2018, so this is more than a year ago, Trudeau defends Joshua Boyle photo op, has no memory of meeting Boyle in 2006. Who's Joshua Boyle? We'll find out in a second, but we'll go through this. Global News says, quote, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is defending his decision to meet with Joshua Boyle, the former hostage, now facing 15 criminal charges related to incidents that allegedly took place after his rescue from Pakistan. Boyle, who along with his wife and 3 children was rescued from the clutches of the Taliban-linked Haqqani network last fall, is facing charges ranging from assault and sexual assault to forcing an individual to ingest a noxious substance. Trudeau met with Boyle, his wife, Caitlin Coleman, and their 3 children in Ottawa around 2 weeks before Boyle's arrest. On Friday, Trudeau was asked by a Global News reporter, Abigail Biman, if he was aware that Boyle was the subject of a police investigation before the meeting was arranged. Trudeau responded by saying all his meetings with Canadians are vetted by national security advisors and intelligence agencies. Quote, I can tell you that we received full assurances from all our intelligence officials and agencies that the meetings could proceed, he said. More than that, you have to talk to the officials involved. Asked to address Boyle's claim on Twitter that the pair had previously met in 2006, Trudeau said he had no memories of any such meeting. Oh, maybe Mr. Boyle experienced it differently. Here's the Boyle tweet, and he says, today was a wonderful experience for my family, and I don't know how to say that. Grace Make Peace seemed truly enamored. Incidentally, not our first meeting with @Justin Trudeau. That was in 2006 in Toronto over other common interests. Haha. Back to the article. In regards to 2006, I remember being with retired Lieutenant General Romeo Dallaire at an event at Ramsden Park in Toronto to highlight the plight of Darfur, and I had memories of being there with Romeo Dallaire. I have no memories of meeting anyone else there. So Trudeau says, oh yeah, he experienced that 2006 meeting totally differently. Here's iPolitics giving a little bit more context. PCO says it was unaware Boyle was under investigation before Trudeau meeting. The Privy Council office says it was not aware former Taliban captive Joshua Boyle was under police investigation before he and his family met with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The information from the PCO was obtained via an order paper question submitted to the House of Commons by Conservative MP Jamie Schmale. The Privy Council office was made aware on January 1st, 2018, that Joshua Boyle had been arrested and charged by the Ottawa Police Service for criminal code offences, it read. Trudeau met with Boyle and his American wife, Caitlin Coleman, and their 3 children in his Parliament Hill office on December 18. On December 30th, Ottawa police laid 15 criminal charges against Boyle, including 8 counts of assault, 2 counts of sexual assault, 2 counts of unlawful confinement, and 1 count each of misleading police, uttering a death threat, and administering a noxious substance. Here's Trudeau holding their kids. There's Boyle, right? Boyle in the Prime Minister's office. This is the tweet. But quite cozy, right? And they're trying to tie Mr. Scheer and Faith Goldy, who addressed the same audience one time, and he gave her an interview in 2017 for The Rebel before cutting ties with The Rebel. Weird. Here's the Ottawa Citizen reporting on the Boyle trial. Quote, it's hard to recall which hits are which, Coleman testifies at Boyle trial. Boyle, 35, was arrested December 30th and is pled not guilty to 19 charges, including assault, sexual assault, forcible confinement, and criminal harassment. Coleman, 33, was asked Wednesday to recount several violent episodes, including one where she alleges Boyle ordered her onto her hands and knees and, after sexually assaulting her, hit her in the face and told her, F you. When Greenspun noted she was unable to recall which side of her face was struck or whether it was closed fist or open palm, Coleman acknowledged she had some difficulty discerning between the different incidents. I don't recall. I think it was a fist, she said. It was hard to recall which hits are which. She recalled another incident in mid-December 2017. That's around the time they met with the Prime Minister, when a verbal argument escalated to Boyle's allegedly punching her in the face. She testified Boyle hit her, quote, multiple times, but in her police statement a month after the incident, she told the detective Boyle hit her twice on the face. She was unwavering in her testimony when Greenspun suggested the assault didn't happen at all. You're incorrect. It did occur, she told him. Coleman denied having any part in drafting a list of rules Boyle wanted her to live by, which included a weight loss regime and a schedule for interesting sex under penalty of chastising, which court was told that came in the form of spanking. The only addition she made to the list called for daily backyard time for the children. She denied Greenspun suggesting that the list was part of a New Year's resolution and denied that she made a list of her own desires from her husband, including asking for oral sex and back rubs. So I just wanted to show you the difference, how hard they're pushing Mr. Scheer's connection to Miss Goldy, which is to say, like, it doesn't exist, really. And nobody talks about this. Nobody wants to mention the person administering noxious things and spanking and punching his wife was, happily sitting in the Prime Minister's office, having him hang out with his son, and here's the family, right? Yeah, so interesting that this is nothing. Nothing to worry about. The Prime Minister's totally above board, and nothing to see here. And Mr. Scheer addressing the same crowd as Miss Faith Goldy. Big problem. White supremacist. Weird. We are living in times where they create the reality they want you to believe. Okay, they're also coming for your free speech. Here it is. Power in Politics this is Karina Gould. I always say Katerina, I don't know why. Karina Gould, and she is advocating for corporations or government to legislate against free speech, having corporations shut down those internet alt-right people. They're very, very concerning. It's insanity. We're going to watch the whole minute and a half after I read that. No, I'm not going to read this. We're just going to watch the whole minute and a half. Here we go.
We've been having conversations with social media platforms about, cleaning up their act and ensuring that our next elections are protected. And while those conversations are ongoing, I haven't felt that they've been taken as seriously here in Canada as they have perhaps in other places around the world. And I think we're getting to a point where we need to seriously be looking at what a regulatory approach would be here in Canada. And those are the conversations that we need to be having as a society. What are the things that we want to see, and how do we enforce those? One of the things that I think is really important is that whatever framework we end up creating has to be forward-looking, because the technology changes so rapidly that we don't want to put something in place that deals with yesterday's problem, but also looks to the future. And so those are the conversations that we're having internally right now.
When you say regulatory approach, do you mean the government is considering legislation?
We're looking at all options right now, and we're looking at, what allies and partners around the world are doing. So you're probably aware that the UK today put out a white paper. Germany has specific laws with regards to hate speech. Australia has put forward legislation that would hold social media executives accountable for violent activity or incitement of violent activity on their platforms. We're looking at what everyone is doing around the world and trying to figure out where the gaps are here in Canada and what we would need to do to address those gaps and to move forward. We've been having.
I want to be clear, this isn't to ensure free speech. This is to shut down speech that they deem hate speech, that they say is hate speech. White nationalism is hate speech. White supremacy is hate speech. And it's incredible that Canada is just sitting by, and some are even enthusiastically letting this happen. I've got the white paper and an article talking about it. Here it is. UK announces regulatory regime that could block sites. So the UK has begun tightening its regulation policies at the risk of freedom of speech online. Quote, this is the director of Home Security, Syed Javid, I guess, said he had given the tech companies a chance, but they have failed. He said, quote, I'm giving tech companies a message that they cannot ignore. I warned you, and you didn't do enough. It's no longer a matter of choice. I will accept nothing else. The UK Home Office announced a new regulatory regime that will act on harms online, Javis said. In a statement tweeted out by the UK Home Office that, quote, regulator will not be a paper tiger. It will be backed with tough enforcement powers that give it teeth. We're proposing heavy fines. Companies named and shamed, websites and apps who refuse to protect users blocked, and senior managers could face criminal charges. The white paper discussed setting up an independent third-party regulator and creating an online police force where users could report online crimes to be dealt with. While some of the activities listed as punishable were illegal, such as child pornography and the spread of terrorism, others were not crimes. The paper used terms that were open to definition, such as, quote, the spread of misinformation online to designate something that would be banned in the UK's regulated internet, such such content would be deemed, quote, unacceptable. I scroll down. If the UK and its new regulator decided to rely on this project for guidance in determining what sites to block, fine, and regulate, then the conservative sites would be on the new hit list. This could be even more disturbing if the UK government is considering, quote, blocking harmful sites, which the BBC claims it is. The white paper also called Reuters' study, which claims that 61% of people want the government to separate what is real and what is fake on the internet. It also listed the internet addiction and children's overexposure to the internet as harms meant to be addressed by the new regulator. While the paper admitted that the government cannot have control over how long people spend in front of screens, it proposed funneling money into studies to solve these problems. Yes, how can we have control over how long people sit in front of screens? And I wanted to show you this. This is a Canadian study from Main Street Research, okay? And just one line, it's not too long. It says most Canadians, 44.3%, think that domestic alt-right groups are the biggest threat to the national security, while a majority of Canadians do not think that there is, and that's 55.2%, do not think that there is a fair amount of extremism among the Muslim community. You can get stats to say anything that you want. So let's do a little bit of quick math, back of the napkin math here, okay? Let's do 100%, and minus 44.3%. And then look at, a majority of Canadians do not think that domestic alt-right groups are the biggest threat. Look at that, 55.7. That's a majority, right? Which is what they say in this next sentence here. A majority of Canadians, 55.2, do not think there is a fair amount of extremism among Canadians' Muslim community. But according to their own statement here, 100% minus 55.2 equals 44.8. Isn't that most Canadians? Most Canadians think that there's a fair amount of extremism among Canada's Muslim community? Oh my goodness, where's the headline? Right? You can do anything with stats and language. It can be manipulated to have you believing what you want to believe. You enter into reading an article with a bias, with a predetermination of what you expect to find there. And when that article says something else, you reject it. Or you don't pay attention to it, you say it's fake news. That's what you're designed to do. Your body, your human brain is designed to reinforce your biases. That is what keeps you alive. Okay? So all they're doing is playing to your biases. And they want to continue playing with your biases. Most people want the government, 61%, and this is just made up, 61% of people do not want speech to be regulated on the internet. Get real. Get real. Absolutely not. Here's the white paper, and I'm not going to go into it. It is dense and not difficult to read, but it's dense. And it lays out pretty clearly what they want to do. Very, very clearly what they want to do. It's very scary. The last story for this morning, and I know it's a long video, sorry guys, but the Trudeau Liberals have spent $4.2 billion in borrowed money since the SNC-Lavalin scandal broke. This is the post-Millennial, and they say, quote, federal government has made more than $4.2 billion in spending announcements since the SNC-Lavalin scandal broke on February 7th, according to Canadian Taxpayer Federation. Quote, that's a lot of money going out the door, and I don't think anyone is paying attention to it, said CTF Director Aaron Werdrick. So we just thought we'd provide a public service by letting people know, they're spending a ton of money outside of Canada. Scroll down. There's money for, not outside of Canada, within Canada, but it's all sorts of spending money. And I've got an entire list here from the article, right? And we'll go through a bit of it as soon as I finish this article here. It says, there's money for a cheese expertise center. So I think a lot of people would scratch their head why the government needs to be funding something like this, said Werdrick of the $376,000 to federal largesse to the Quebec-based nonprofit. Other spending includes nearly $600,000 for Safe Boating mobile app. Yeah. Do you make apps? Do you make apps for the government? Because if you do, you can buy a house with it. $1.2 million for creating job opportunities for youth in BC. There's a lot of money going to BC. Did any of that affordable housing money create any affordable houses? How many? Interesting. And nearly $370,000 for understanding right-wing extremism in Canada. Yay! That's all our tax dollars at work. As federal government budgets 2019 promised $19.8 billion in deficit spending, all of these announcements are effectively being funded with borrowed money. Yay. Here's the list, okay? And I said outside of Canada. There's a lot of spending outside of Canada, but I haven't gone through this list, so I don't know what the ratio is. But in 2 months, they've spent $4.2 billion, and that's on the credit card. So regardless of whether we have it or not, is it a good idea to be spending that kind of money this way? I don't know. I don't have the answer. Last one. Sorry, I said the last one was the last one, but this is actually the last one. Yesterday, Loblaws got $25 million in taxpayer dollars to buy fridges and freezers for climate change action. Really? This is a company, and this is the Loblaws 2018 fourth quarter fiscal year end December 29. So this is the amount of money they made at the end of last year. Okay, revenue was $11,218 million. That was $11 billion, an increase of $226 million. Okay, or 2.1% over 2017. Well, that's great. Operating income was $445 million, an increase of $388 million, or 680% compared to the fourth quarter of 2017. Do you think that we're helping the climate by helping Loblaws buy fridges? Do you think that's what's happening? If you think that, well, I've got some land to sell you, or an app to sell you. It boggles the mind. Because when it doesn't take long to pick back the layer and see that the things they're doing don't make any sense. No sense at all. And to top it all off, Loblaws is in a legal court battle with Canada Revenue Agency for trying to dodge taxes and paying taxes in Canada. Why are we giving this company money? They don't need the money. And they're actively trying to hide money from Canadian taxpayers. Why are we giving them taxpayer dollars? Yay, upgrade your fridges, we'll pay for it. And if you own a small business that could maybe actually use this money, then you don't have access to that because they've got Walmart or Loblaws has $12 million of it. Wild. And to be clear, I think all corporate welfare should be abolished, gone, totally. Kaput, done. But if we can't do that, giving money to big multinational corporations that have billions of dollars in profit with a 600% increase in profit, almost 700% increase in profit, tone deaf and stupid. Are the Canadian taxpayers this tone deaf and stupid? No, just their elected officials. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Check out the peoplespartyofcanada.ca. I don't think Mr. Bernier will be this tone deaf nor this stupid, and he won't continue the corporate welfare that these conservatives and liberals have kicked down the can and carried forward since the 80s. Why are we spending this kind of money? It's not for jobs. They're not making jobs with this. They're buying fridges with this. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the peoplespartyofcanada.ca. Check out CanadaPoly.com. We'd love to have you. Have a wonderful day.